Greetings, this is StasiaBliss. Welcome to my channel. At this channel we talk about Kundalini awakenings and all things life force management. So life force, the force of our life, when we fully become, or maybe not fully, since we're always growing, but as we become more awakened to this force in us. You know, we are at the beginning of a beautiful journey of life force mastery. As we move forward into a whole new era of life. If you watched my Kundalini and aging video, I was speaking to this idea that we look back and we see how the previous ages have developed and matured. And being the future generation of them, we choose to make adjustments in the evolutionary process going forward, because that is our right as a conscious being, to look and learn from those who came before us. And if we don't, then we're just on autopilot, and that is the case before the Kundalini awakens. And it's kind of designed that way as part of the movement and growth process, right? A baby can't know everything about being an adult. It wouldn't be appropriate for the evolutionary arc. So we get comfortable in specific set patterns of behavior in life until, you know, the holy moment or the universe deems us worthy or ready or prepared enough. And some of us think we weren't prepared. It just was thrust upon us. But I do believe there's an innate wisdom to a Kundalini awakening that you yourself in your highest aspect set before you long before, that at this moment and in the moments that you are experiencing while you're watching this video, these things you set out to experience right now as a part of your becoming and your flowering and your blossoming, and why the chakras are depicted like a lotus opening, because that is what our consciousness does. It opens. It's the only muscle that gets stronger by relaxing it. That consciousness muscle, that meditative muscle, if you will, the part of us that stops holding on to so tightly the old system. And of course we have to do that for a while, because otherwise we would let go into the abyss of falling. And that can be a dangerous place, psychologically speaking. You know, if you aren't prepared, this is where one can lose their mind or have a nervous breakdown or a psychotic fit, or, you know, go into sort of a sort of mental disorder. So let's be warned here. And I'm not a psychiatrist, okay? I'm a spiritual practitioner. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a mama. I'm studied in the art of yoga and meditation. And as a spiritual minister, this is my expertise. I'm a spiritual consultant. So speaking of the spiritual journey of humanity, whatever your religion or no religion is, there is no religion around the growth of human and our maturation process. It is universal. It's what everyone gets to experience if they're here long enough. If they open to that cycle deeply enough in themselves, you will go to the next level of growth. And so more and more and more humans are awakening to another understanding, a deeper knowing, a broader wisdom, if you will, that our ancestors were just touching on, or maybe didn't even touch. And we're accessing new areas of consciousness, new terrain. We are pioneers, if you will, in this Aquarian age of unfolding, where our consciousness wants to know more, it wants to go more, it wants to learn from the ones who came before us. So someone quoted a beautiful quote from Robert Bly. He said, "There comes a point in your journey where you just have to turn around and eat your shadow." That's a beautiful summation of the Kundalini growing up process. it makes you want to be a baby sometimes, because you're like, wow, this hurts, it's uncomfortable, I don't like it. Complain, complain, complain about anything and everything to keep us from our next level of greatness is really all it is, which is super silly, right? Because we all actually crave that. We ask for it. Please, God, help me to be greater. Help me to go farther. Help me to help more, to have prosperity, to have love. We meditate to open ourselves to those things. And then as they approach us and the old things try to leave us, it's like when you forgot you had this certain article of clothing and you didn't even wear it anymore, but then it gets brought out to be taken away and you're like, wait, I like that shirt. Or wait, I like that toy or that tool or that thing I haven't seen in years, and obviously it didn't mean anything to me, right? This is kind of how our old beliefs and our old patterns, when they're being released, it feels like we see them come up again, and there's a part of us that's like, this is familiar, I know this me. I'm just gonna hang out in this me a little longer. Because if I'm not this me, then who am I? Who am I without that story, without that pain? So Kundalini energy is encouraging us to be brave enough and bold enough and mature enough to eat our shadow, to be like, yep, that's all the stuff. I'm big enough to swallow that. I'm a big girl now, I'm a big boy now. And yeah, I'm just a 2-gender girl. Because really it's all about the masculine and feminine in the consciousness system. There are two, it's like positive and negative. You can only have 2 poles in polarity to make the energy run. And if you confuse that, well, you just don't have an appropriate battery or energy system. So you have to have positive and negative. You have to be clear on that. That doesn't mean you don't have elements of them, but there are really just 2 pure essences that we're working with. So to allow yourself to have that experience is to seek out a new charge, for your proton, so to speak. Getting a little cryptic here, right? But yeah, to eat your shadow, to be grown up. I was saying big boy, big girl. And that there's so many layers and levels to that. And that's the process. And of course it's uncomfortable at first because we don't know what to expect and we think something's wrong with us because that's just how we're raised to think about our bodies. No one has given us an option in school or growing up, hardly, until, the last couple of decades. This different perspective on the body has been introduced into consciousness, so the younger folk maybe know it better, but there's still a huge portion of humanity that does not even think of reality in terms of anything else besides, if I hurt, something's wrong, and at like 60 it's all downhill and I'm gonna die and there's gonna be these diseases and like these are the things associated with aging. You lose your eyesight, you start to be crippled, like there's a whole list. And I mean, my mom's 80. She got eye surgery the other day and they asked her what medications she's on and she said none, because she doesn't take any. And my dad didn't either until he just got a heart stent a couple of years ago, and now he's been in the hospital, and thank you for your prayers. He is home and he is recovering, so thank you. We'll see what that looks like, and I bless Daddy and all y'all. Thank you. So I've lost my train of thought for a moment. Yeah, so the evolution of humanity I'm speaking of, we can look at what's been done and we can make a new choice, and that's part of what I mean, like taking responsibility, cleaning up where you can clean up. If you have the capacity to think a new thought about that, then that's yours to do. If you go into someone's filthy house and that's just the way it's always been, and they think every house should be like this because mom did her house like this and this, but you go in and you're like, well, actually I can see how organization and a broom might help out. then it's your responsibility to do that because it's in your consciousness field. And that's all Kundalini is you're continually broadening your perspective of what could be yours to do. And we all are kind of freaked out by that at first because it feels big. But here's the thing. It is big. But you're big. You are big. You are humongous. Not like weight-wise. Your soul, your consciousness, your vast, you're all of it. All of it. So within you, this is a process of growing to remember the allness that we are. And it's not just you, it's you and you and you and me, and we're all it. So we're awakening to our bigness again. So yeah, it's freaky. We want to go hide and cry about how much it hurts to feel our bigness. And I feel ya. I truly do. Oh, I do. How much I've been face down on the ground, fighting against my bigness bursting out. And that usually happens through some sort of difficult passage or a conflict or a pain or some difficult journey. Sorry, that's just how growth works. Stress unravels our DNA. So nobody said this was going to be easy, and if you watched my video, can I stop this? I clearly said no. But we're all in it, you know. If you're here, you're in it, and there's no going back. So there's only to, how do I manage this? And that's why I say life force management. How do I manage this process? It's so big. It's like you're a young person, you suddenly got made CEO or king or queen of your country. Can you imagine that actually happened in our history? Young people were coronated as king or queen of their entire country. And people were like, yeah, you are. You and I, I'll speak for myself, you know, at 40, at 50 years old, still being like, I'm not worthy of this divine inheritance, of this queendom, kingdom in which I reign. What about all the other people? Well, everybody else is in charge of their domain too. We're co-domaining this thing. We all have a piece. And it pretty much sucks if your neighbor across the street doesn't take out their garbage. Or they take it out and it just sits there and piles up. It does affect everyone. So as we become self-responsible, and believe me, I'm still doing my part working. This is a never-ending journey. Don't think I'm here and I've done it and I'm telling you how to get to where I'm at. I mean, I may just be a little bit further on the path than you because I've been longer on the road. And maybe you're even ahead of me because I've been on the road so long, and these days the road is accelerating. It's like I've been walking on the regular sidewalk and now they put in those electric sidewalks and people are just buzzing on through. So this perspective from me is through this widened lens, and maybe why some of the stuff is detailed is because, like, for me it was a year by year by year learning, not the initiations that happen as fast as they do now. So I have big honor for all of you who are in it now. Like, I literally, like, you're amazing. You're amazing. Yeah, I'm so super humble in my journey. Like, part of me doesn't even want to get on here, but I feel I must. Not because I don't love you, I love humanity. But I fight my own worthiness stuff, right? But that's not the point. The point is to own what is yours to do. What is yours to do? You know, if one of these videos helps one of you to not feel crazy and to step more fully into who you are, then that's great. That's a piece that I came to assist in. And there's many who contributed to my journey, that I would not be where I am, and I would not feel at peace as I do, and I do. There's wars raging around, and I can truly say that I am at peace. And my mind is at peace. And even while Dad's been in the hospital, I have been shown, I have been seeing. And I've also been aware that not everybody is seeing what I'm seeing. And it's not my job to go tell everything that I'm seeing to everyone and be right. You know, with great responsibility, or with great knowledge comes great responsibility, that sort of thing. Like, as you grow in your awakening, as you begin to see more and more, not everybody sees at the same rate. Not everybody sees everything. So honor what's yours to do. And if you need support in that, like, I'm happy to be that support. Like, we all need support sometime. But there's lots of support for you. It's a beautiful time to be alive. And if you haven't gone outside yet, the sun is magnificent. The solar flares are releasing huge amounts of information to our consciousness that will support your journey. So don't be afraid to get a little bit. Okay, I'll see you again soon. Much love to you. Namaste, my dear, dear friends. Until next time.